Rational. So Bank Nifty is actually finding a pretty good support over here. So this is a very good trend line. If I switch to the 15 minutes time frame, it would be more evident to you. So it could probably find a very good support over here. So if I get some sort of a good price action over here, then I'll think about a long side opportunity, keeping my stop loss over here. Now, in case market is to fall down below that, okay, I'll check out for a short. If Bank Nifty manages to drop below this, I'll flip my position. So that is my rationale on Bank Nifty. And so I'm kind of actually going to use at the money options. So in case we haven't discussed options with you, so just look at the price action. So if options are done, if you understand options, yeah, then it is fine. Okay. So right now 35,400 call option would be the one at the money. 35,400 call option. 35,400 call option is the one that is actually at the money. Okay. The rationale is pretty simple. So I'm actually Bank Nifty is sort of a good support at this particular trend line. So please I'm just muting yourself. I guess my screen is perfectly visible to you. Okay. Now I have actually started using one indicator called as RSI. So just like many of the people within our community are checking out for. So you can check out for divergence based on RSI. Plus another thing that can be done is you can actually check out for the momentum. So when RSI value actually picks up above 60, so I kind of consider it to be the buying momentum to be strong. When RSI value drops below 40, I kind of consider the selling momentum to be strong. Okay, so I'm just checking out. I'm very keen on the price action that gets formed over here. So I'll be checking out for two opportunities today. The first opportunity would be to think about a long side position based on this candle's closing, the price action. I'll keep my stop loss below this. And the other opportunity that I will be looking is, okay, so let's say that this is kind of actually triggering my stop loss. Then I'll flip my trade. Flip my trade in the sense if price manages to close below this level, I'll go for a short. So these are the things I'm watching out for. Okay. So 35,400 call option, I'll quickly add the 35,400 call option on this chart for easy reference. 35,400 call option, I'll quickly add it over here for better reference. So this is what the premium chart looks like. Okay, 35,400 call option. Now let me just quickly check out how the open interest is looking for 35,400 call option. 35,400 call option, there is not much of a writing or there is kind of nothing happening over here. So just wait. 35,400 call option is being watched out. And if I am to take a buy over here, then my stop loss, as I mentioned to you, would be at the swing low. So based on delta, you can calculate your stop loss, or else you could look at the premium chart and then decide for yourself. Okay. So as I mentioned to you, so we'll just need to see the price action that is getting formed over here to consider checking out for long side opportunities. Now, in order to check out for short side opportunities, we need this trend line to be taken out. Okay, then I'll be buying the put option. So today I'm not selling options, rather I'm looking out to buy options. Okay. Is this my first trade of the day? No, this is not the first trade. In fact, like I had some losing trades today morning. Okay, I had some losing trades. I was trying out some new systems. Okay, I was kind of trying out some new algos. So those ended up losing. But those were just for test purpose. Now, this would be the first trade I will be taking as far as any particular trend line, something like that. Okay. So the other trade was kind of actually done to try out 2-3 systems, but then all of them ended up failing. But then the risk is not the same. We take it on a very small risk. So it really doesn't matter much. Okay. So yeah, so let's see if this trend line, my God, let's kind of actually see if this trend line can get taken out. So just have a look at this trend line. This is a level that has been tested from pretty good long duration. Okay. If you have a look in the 1 hour or the 15 minutes time frame, it makes more sense. But since we are pretty close to our entries, we'll have to watch out for this. Okay. So we see there is pretty good writing taking place on the 35,500 call option. 35,500 call option has more writing. 35,500 put option also has, but then more writing is taking place at the 35,500 call option. Call is being written more aggressively. Okay, so let's see the price action and then let's decide for ourselves. Okay, so yeah, so some of you asked like what would be my stop loss on the call. I'll just mark it on this chart before we go further. So you can consider keeping your stop loss at this particular low, somewhere at like 432. So that would be around how much? Would be like around a 40 point stop loss. So guys, like be alert, and if there is a movement towards the upside taking place, then I guess easily the price could first reach this pivot, followed by that these levels could be pretty much possible. Okay, so right now we need to be kind of really alert because anytime the levels can be taken out, and we would be having to be a bit fast. Okay, and as I mentioned to you, so this is not any trade recommendation or something. Always trade at your own risk appetite, according to your own risk appetite. So last 2 weeks has been like this. I lose in the morning market, I make it back in the evening markets. Okay, so I think that I should have traded only the evening markets. I should have only traded the MCX. So yeah, I'm kind of watching out 35,400 call option. Okay, so let's see how the price action is. So we need a confirmation. In the sense we kind of actually need a confirmation taking place. Only then we'll decide what to do. Because as of now, still the sellers are in strength. Okay, India VIX is rising. India VIX is still up. So right now, what we're kind of actually thinking about doing is a trade that is completely against the sentiment. So when the overall market is kind of bearish, we're thinking about checking out for a long side opportunity. So at this point of time, also the sentiment is actually still bearish. The sellers are still looking strong. Okay, so that means like we need to be very careful before taking out a buy entry. We would actually need to wait before initiating any sort of a buy. So right now also the selling momentum is better. That is why the RSI is kind of lesser than 40. Okay. Is there something else or some other indicator you had to use? Not much, guys. Like this is more than sufficient. See, honestly, ultimately at the end of the day, it's all about risk reward. Guys, yeah, we might get a trade now. So yes, I'm going for an entry. Just wait. Volume is not kind of picking up. That is something that is actually making us reluctant. No. Just have a look at the volume. This doesn't give me the conviction to go for a buy. Okay, so I was supposed to go for an entry here, but then like just have a look at the volume that is taking place. Very less. So I'm not kind of feeling some sort of a conviction to go ahead with a buy because of the factor that the volume that is actually kind of taking place is pretty low. Okay, so guys, like, so I guess you understand the rationale. First of all, like the markets is in a downside sentiment at the moment. Okay. Now, second thing is like VIX is kind of still at a higher value. Now, when we have a look at the volume that is actually taking place, it seems that okay, the buying pressure is kind of not pretty much good to initiate a long side. So no, okay, so no trades. So usually, like when this level has to be taken out, at least this volume should be higher than this volume at least. So that would have given us a conviction. Now, you want to have a look at the open interest? Okay, I'll just show you how the open interest is changing. Just have a look at the open interest. Open interest is still rising. So which means that, okay, so I kind of consider it this way, where sellers actually have more strength or more hand in the market. So open interest rising means there could be more aggressive writing taking place on the 35,400 call option, which means sellers would like the price to come down further. Okay, so that is what we interpret. So it could be just a trap, maybe. Let's see. So I guess everybody is able to follow me. Please ask me if you have any questions. Now we'll have to wait, guys. Like since as long as we don't get any sort of a confirmation, there is no point in going ahead with a buy. Okay. So I'm more into selling options, but then since today is a Friday, like I'm kind of more keen on checking out for buying opportunities. And in fact, there was like plenty of good opportunities today morning. For example, like this is kind of like a double top getting broken. This would have been a very good trade. Okay, this is definitely a good double top, right? A double top getting broken, neckline kind of actually getting pierced, some sort of a small pullback, then a drop. Someone can actually think about going for a short, keeping their stop loss over here. Okay, keeping a stop loss over here. Someone would have actually thought about going for a short. This would have been an amazing trade. But no, I was not able to capture any of it. Just trying out some new things. Now let's kind of actually watch. Oh my god. Yeah. So Sarthak is saying, yeah, it is forming lower lows and lower highs. You are right. It is forming lower lows and lower highs. But since this is a very significant trend line, a pretty strong trend line, that is the reason we thought about checking out for long opportunities over here. But so far there is kind of no conviction for us to go for a long because of the fact that what do you say? Because of the fact that the volume is not looking good. Okay, and all other confluences are on the bearish side. So you need maximum number of confluences should be telling you to go for a buy. That is when you should be going for a buy. Okay, so when all the confluences are against you, then there is no point in you going for a buy. So at least we need some signs of positivity, right? So let's actually wait. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Price is gradually picking up, but just have a look at the volume. Volume is like looking dead. Okay, so this doesn't kind of give any sort of a conviction to go ahead with a buy. That is a problem. And if you have a look at the individual banking sector stocks, okay, HDFC is sort of finding a support at 1,506 levels. Now, Kotak also seems like it found a support. SBI, like I can't comment. IndusInd too, like almost the same story. But the volumes doesn't look uh, kind of convincing. Now there could be even chances, or there could be even cases when the price flies off from this level. Okay, so don't blame me in that case. But I'm not really convinced about going for a buy. Okay, so is anyone kind of feeling a conviction to go for a buy? One more thing is there. So these kind of opportunities where reversals, all these things you're trading, those would be the setups that has maximum risk reward. Okay, so for example, you have a look over here itself. Just have a look at this scenario itself. where you are kind of actually just your risk would be something like this, and your if your entry is somewhere over here, your risk something like this. The potential move that you could actually look out for would be something like this. So this itself would be something like a 1:3, right? So even though you have like a 30-35% accuracy for these kind of reversals, now there could be even chances when the price picks up towards the day side. So that would end up being something like a 1:4, 1:2, something like that. Okay. So even though the price, like these kind of reversals would fail most of the time, but still, if you're looking at the probability, you have you kind of, if you're able to stick with the probability, okay, not just look, but if you're able to ride the trend towards the maximum potential, then you would be able to make some handsome profits, even if your accuracy is wrong, less. But then the problem is that the psychological aspect would be very difficult, because you'll be having to take more number of losing trades and less number of winning trades. So this can actually kind of put you down. Okay, in the sense like this could actually affect you emotionally. Your emotional balance would be very difficult in these kind of trades. So Nifty like looks like it is looking much more stronger than Bank Nifty. So we need at least this volume to take off these levels. So that would have actually given us some sort of a conviction. So as far as the day is concerned, the first significant level would be over here. Okay. Okay, Bank Nifty is picking up, but just have a look at the volume. It's looking dead, still looking dead, right? Now, on the open interest front, 35,500 sees writing, 36,000 sees writing, call options. Okay, 35,700. Everything is seeing writing. So we might get an opportunity pretty soon, but then we will have to wait for it. Okay, on the stock front, so right now like Jindal Steel, RBL Bank, there's some things that is actually looking weak. Okay, see momentum is not there so far, but it can come in any time. So still looks like there is a tug of war between buyers and sellers happening. See, in case you have some thoughts, please share through the chat box, or I'm just giving you the privilege to unmute yourself. You can unmute yourself and ask questions too. Hello. Just feel free to ask questions by unmuting yourself if you have any. And so I'll be more keen. I'll be kind of actually be keen on checking out for opportunities in the evening markets also. So I'll will look forward to conduct some live trades in the evening hours too. Okay, it would be great. Yeah, hi.
Hi,
Yeah, hi, sir. So,
Hi, good morning, Hari.
hi, Shashank. Good morning.
This is Prabjot. I don't know if Shashank wants to take his first question.
Okay, okay. Sorry. Yeah, Prabjot. Yeah, sure.
Uh, it's regarding the what do you call the trades in equity. Like even yesterday, after doing the setup and everything, we're not getting the right reward of the equities.
Yeah. So that problem is there with me also. So basically, like what happens is equity is kind of losing momentum. That is like the trend is not sustaining anywhere. So and now some of you would be like wondering, okay, how is this Nifty, Bank Nifty, and all rallying when there is no trend? So if you have actually noticed for yourself, like majority of the moves actually kind of take place at a certain duration of time. In the sense, there is kind of nothing like a consistent trend in majority of the equities these days, apart from these Adani, all these stuff. Like sometimes it moves, then it doesn't move. So maybe
Okay.
majority of the move would have actually taken place over maybe some 1 hour duration of time, or maybe over some 15-30 minutes duration of time. So now what happens is like we'll have to time it. In the sense we'll have to time, like we'll kind of actually be having to time an entry, but timing the markets is like not at all possible, I would say. In the sense like you can't kind of, what do you say, you can't kind of actually identify that particular 15 minutes or 20 minutes duration when the stock is going to give a move. So that is a problem happening. And majority of the times, like once we enter the trade, the price really doesn't move. So that becomes a concern. So this concern has been alerting me over the last 2 weeks. I mean, after you kind of enter a directional trade, the price really doesn't move. So in fact, like equity intraday has become quite difficult. But when it kind of comes to swing trading, where you're kind of taking the position for the next day, it is pretty smooth because almost every single day we have a gap up opening these days. Right, you would be observing that.
That's
So
correct.
yeah, so because of the like people who are into swing, it is kind of pretty smooth, and when it kind of comes to directional intraday trading, it has become quite difficult. So it's not just the case with you. So I was checking upon with a lot of people. It's kind of a similar situation with almost every single person. Okay, so there is kind of nothing much that can be done about it. So only thing that we can actually maybe think about doing is, so if that is the scenario, kind of actually avoid taking trades in equity directional if you're
Sure.
finding difficulty. So that is what I was also doing this week. So I have kind
So
of
with the
reduced the,
future build-up,
you see whatever you're looking at, the problem happening is for some time it'll give a move, then it won't move. It'll kind of stay
okay,
there. Okay, so
okay,
such scenarios, like if you're into the trade, you're kind of actually trapped, nothing to do.
yes,
So what we could kind of actually think about doing is we could kind of actually avoid for a while, until and unless there is some sort of a sector that is giving some. For example, like for a while, like the steel sector was trending, auto sector was trending. So when any particular sector is continuously trending, then it is really good because you are on the right side of the trend, you'll be able to ride it. But then if the individual stock is giving a move, let's say majority of the move is given in a 15-20 minute span. If you were not in the trade during that span of time, you don't get an opportunity or you are not getting any benefit out of it. So we really don't want such scenarios, right? So I would say like if that is a scenario, just avoid trading in equity, just observe it. So I personally have reduced. So my plan was not at all to take any position, but then like I had four positions this week.
sure. Thank you.
So, but then like there are some sectors like commodities, gold, silver, crude, all these things are kind of giving some pretty trending move. Means you are in the right direction of the trend, you can actually ride it for 3-4 hours. So uh, definitely, like market always gives us some sort of an opportunity. We just need to explore it. Understand, like which is giving trending moves. Let's trade on that. As far as
Sure.
that is concerned, so that is why we need non-directional trading also. We need to be following non-directional systems also due to the very same reason. Because markets trend only 30% of the times, right? So rest
Yeah,
70% of the times you need to be still alive. So yeah, so you kind of need a combination of systems which kind of take care of non-directional systems where you follow non-directional trades plus direction. So non-directional is working pretty smooth in the sense. Uh, I'll just show you. So still the volume is looking dead, guys. Just have a look at this. Still the markets are kind of looking dead. It seems like market is taking a halt. So as you know, like when the markets are kind of like this, we'll have to take a we'll have to wait. Okay, we'll actually have to wait. So after, so ideally speaking, this would have been the best opportunity for the day. So this neckline kind of getting taken out. So this would have been a good confirmation. Like, and everything is on the downside. So going for a short based on this candle's closing with your stop loss towards this high. Okay, expecting the price to come down towards the next pivot level. This would have been an amazing opportunity. Like, we're sad that we couldn't trade it. We could have traded it together. So now we had to wait. So as you see in the markets is looking dead. Markets are looking pretty dead. So we'll actually have to wait for some sort of a confirmation as far as the volume is concerned. So right now SBI is looking like it is picking up. HDFC Bank is looking dead. ICICI is looking weak. Axis is looking dead. IndusInd is looking almost dead. Kotak is looking weak at this point of time. Okay. So, and talking about the India VIX values, VIX has dropped a bit. However, like it opened at some 15.4, 15.2 values. It rose to 16.2. Right now it is at 16. Okay. So we can, so most probably like we can trade, I guess we'll get opportunities in the direction of the trend itself, where we can check out for shorts based on the trend line getting taken out. Okay. So I guess everybody is able to follow whatever is being conveyed. So as our friend Prabjot had asked, yeah, so directional trading equity intraday has become very difficult. It is not only for you, it is for me. Almost every single person I spoke with. That is because the momentum gets exhausted pretty fast. Okay, so like I'm finding it difficult. So what I'm personally doing is I'm focusing more on commodity for directional. So directional in index as well as non-directional in index.
Sir, can you open Mahindra Logistics
Yeah,
chat?
yeah, sure. Why not? So is there anything specifically that you're looking out for in that? Is there anything specific you're looking out for in that?
Sir, it has formed triangle pattern in one day chart and it has broken, I think.
Okay, okay, fine. What is the name? MA something? No, MH. What is it? MH LOG. I forgot.
Yes, sir, yes, sir. Sir, wait. MAHLOG.
For me, it still looks like in the 1 day time frame, it looks like pretty much range bound again. Still, so here also, like I don't think it has kind of come out of the range band.
Okay, sir.
I think we kind of actually would need to wait a bit more. But for intraday trading, if you're kind of considering, like, yeah, you might think about checking out for a trade based on the high position, something like that. And this is not something that I personally trade. Okay, like, it's not something I
Okay,
personally trade. So, but
okay, sir.
yeah, let's just,
Hari, just one more
yeah,
thing. If you can just check for me Tata Chemical because I've taken a trade in it.
yeah, sure, why not? So most probably we'll get a trade on this thing, the bank nifty also soon. Suppose that I'll just show you like why diversification is important in trading also. So when these kind of directional perform very bad, right? Non-directional performs very good. I'll just show you that. I'll show it to you with my trades that I published on Sensible. So Tata Chemical is looking like one day time frame is looking like pretty much sideways. And if I get into the 1 hour time frame, is looking bullish, and 15 minutes time frame, yeah, it's kind of in a higher. So you're on the long side, if I'm not wrong, right?
That's correct. Yes.
Yeah, so it looks uh, the long side only, but then momentum is not there. Okay, so ban if he could give us some opportunities, guys. So let's watch out for that.
Hello, sir.
Yeah, hi.
So for swing trades, can I consider 1 hour time frame as
Uh, okay, so this weekend, like we'll kind of actually conduct a meeting exclusively for that. Okay, and we'll do it together. So we'll check out for some trades. Now, See, do you know like one difference between intraday trading and swing trades? Or
Carry forward the position.
no, that and option strategies.
No, we were looking for it, so I think we haven't discussed it yet.
Yeah,
So
okay. We haven't discussed it, but then like there is a very general this thing. See, when we kind of comes to intraday directional trades, for example, what we're looking out for this Nifty band and all. So execution is like very crucial. So let's say that I kind of enter the trade. You enter the trade after 5 minutes. So even if my view is right and you also enter the same trade, still you will go in loss. But because you are not able to capture the correct price, or you wouldn't be able to capture the momentum. So same thing with equities also. Like in the sense like execution would be completely in your hand. But then when it kind of comes to swing trades and all, like more or less there is some relaxation for you. In the sense like as far as the timing is concerned and all, uh, at least within the same day, if you're kind of capable of entering the trade, your results are going to be more or less similar. Okay. So swing trades, yeah. So the swing section in Discord, right? So that is very that's going to be very useful for you. So we have like a lot of discussions, analysis, and all happening over there. So we can actually check out for some opportunities this coming week. And I could also invite. There is one friend called Swapnil. He's extremely talented in swing. Okay, he's extremely talented in swing positions. So he would also be joining us. So we'll kind of ask him also to share. So Kaustubh, Swapnil, a lot of people, okay, who are purely into swing. Anjali, okay. So there's a lot of people who are kind of purely into swing. So look out for that, and we'll discuss. We'll kind of share. We'll kind of observe it together. So equity intraday, as I mentioned to you, it has become quite difficult, not only for you, for everyone. Okay. So Avinal, Reliance. Okay, let's have a look at Reliance. So maybe that could actually help Nifty. So I don't think this is a breakout level or something. Has managed to come above the VWAP. No, I guess we'll have to wait for some sort of a retest. So Bank Nifty is once again finding a support at that particular trend line. Now, what is actually kind of not giving us a conviction is the fact that, what do you say? Like it really doesn't look like a buyers are kind of taking control. Let's wait and see. So if we get an opportunity, I will go ahead with a buy. Okay.
Hello.
Yeah.
Oh, hi, sir. Sir, I have a long position in Info Edge. It's a very old long position.
So that is a
Just want to
long-term
know.
investment, right?
Yeah, long term.
Hold it. It's a good company.
Okay.
Nothing wrong in that. So don't mix trades with investments. Okay, investments means like you should not be looking at it on a daily basis. Like
Good.
if you're kind of investing for the long term, let it be. So just make sure whether the markets are up or down. You think
Sir,
about
but what is the exit plan for a long term stock, sir?
exit plan means see I'll just tell you like one thing. So when you kind of start investing, you are investing to create wealth, right, in the long term,
Okay.
right? Now you'll have a
Yeah.
horizon also, or like what is that you're expecting from the market. You kind of have some sort of a plan like that. Okay. Now that is what we would recommend. So kind of keep a goal. So for what purpose you're investing. So once you have a goal for what you are investing, then it makes sense because now you know okay for how long you are investing, so how much you're looking to accumulate from that particular investment. Now, as long as that particular goal is not met, you can hold on to the position. So whenever you want to realize the goal, then book your profits. And for every single goal, you kind of consider separate plans, like separate portfolios. One could be for 5 years, one could be for 10 years, one could be for 20 years. That way. Else, what will happen is like once the price has appreciated maybe 10%, you will feel okay, I should exit it because you really didn't have a goal in the first place. And whatever profits that you're kind of going to book, you are going to spend it for most probably something that is not relevant. Okay. So rather than that, it's always better that you keep a goal. So now you exactly know for what purpose you are investing, and definitely that'll make much more sense. Okay. So right now, yeah, we see that. Okay, see, The reason, as I mentioned to you, even though this was a bullish price action, the reason we didn't go for a buy is because the volumes were not looking good. And in a trend when the markets are kind of dominated by sellers, going for a buy is against the trend. But definitely it has a good risk reward ratio. However, like we didn't get a conviction because of the factor that what do you say? The volumes were looking pretty weak, and the other individual stocks were also not looking good. Okay, let's see how it goes. This could be interesting, guys. So even though if we have to wait for a very long duration, this could be kind of actually really interesting. Okay, now see for trending right now, if you ask me, trending markets, commodities are doing the best. Okay, they're having some amazing trending moves, commodities markets. Now for Indian markets, I'm kind of actually doing more of non-directional these days, and yeah, obviously I'm trading index also based on directional. Okay, now I just wanted to tell you. So if you are someone who is kind of very much concerned, so many people kind of ask like directional, non-directional. Directional is more profitable. Non-directional is not much profitable. Like small profit but risk is high. But I just wanted to tell you like both you need. So these are the trades that I publish on Sensible, and in this particular platform, like the base capital. So for all these trades that is done, so capital utilization is 1 lakh. So the returns that you kind of see over here is the returns over a span of, I guess, 3 months. If I'm not wrong. Yeah. It's kind of the returns from like February end till now. So 3 months return on a capital of 1 lakh. So you see something like a 7.2K. So 1 lakh 7.2K would be like something like a 7%. Okay. You could actually have a look at the non-directional trades that we have punched on our personal levels. So the actual ROI is around some 8%. So some trades we were not able to publish over here, and some losing trades had more slippage. Okay, so that is why like you see some bigger numbers, because these are some numbers that is calculated based on bid ask price on Zerodha. Okay, so just realize for yourself like your trading system should be a combination of everything. Like you should be diversifying your systems a bit. Okay, so directional you should be checking out for. So along with directional, I have been emphasizing that you do non-directional also these days. Okay, and one more thing. So this doesn't include the straddles. This doesn't include the intraday straddles. So straddles alone, like last month, we kind of actually had around a gain of some 4.55%. Okay, and post charges is around some 4%. That's kind of pretty great. Okay, so just realize for yourself, like your trading system should be a mixture. So just don't stick with the single trading system. Just don't stick with directional. I would say I would kind of ask you to just have a consider non-directional also these days, because markets are kind of highly rewarding for non-directional trades. And a 7% in 90 days is like, if you kind of calculate it for one whole year, it would be like a 4 times, right? It's like a 28-30% for a year. So which is amazing, right? So 28%, 30% for a year is a big deal. So don't consider that to be a less or a small return. 30% in a year with just non-directional, where you're not kind of actually taking a lot of stress. And what do you say? One more thing is that it would take you like you can cut your losses always. Okay, you can manage your risk properly, and that would be a very good thing to do, I would say. Okay, so please have a look at that. Please consider that. And so straddles are the ones that is performing the best for me these days. Okay, so majority of the profits are generated by straddles and directional trades on commodity. So have a focus on that also. So I just wanted to tell you. So this financial year, I'm looking forward to capture something like a 40% ROI from non-directional. From non-directional, I'm checking out for something like a 40%. So current rate is a bit lesser, but then definitely I feel, yeah, I'll be able to capture 40%. So right now it is like 8% almost. So market is slow, guys. It's getting boring now. We don't have, okay, how can we do in less capital? So less capital, I just wanted to tell you. So for straddles, you will need around 2 lakhs to do one lot. Okay, but honestly speaking, 2 lakh capital, you should be having it before doing buying options. Also, you should definitely be having something like a 2 lakhs capital. Else, you won't be able to manage your risk efficiently. So you can buy options with 10k, you can buy options with 50k, you can buy options with 1 lakh. But then I personally feel you need at least like a 1.52 lakhs to trade one lot and manage the risk efficiently. Else, your risk management wouldn't make sense. You would be risking more percentage of your capital every single trade. Okay, so that factor is there. And okay, so most likely this level could take out. Okay, this trend line could manage to get pierced. Let's see how it goes. For strategy, the stop loss is how do we square off the other leg? I'm still unclear. Don't square it off. Let it run. Okay, Manisha, don't square it off. Just let it run. So if one, this thing is kind of, see, I update it, right? I guess I update it on Discord always. Whatever management, everything is being done. So these are trades you guys also know. So these are the trades that I had shared on Discord also. No change on that. Okay, so yeah, we could get an opportunity, guys. And at this particular point of time, the anti-money put option is 35,300. Yes. You can restart, man. If you missed out all the sessions, then please restart. You could watch all the videos and you could just restart. That'll be the best thing. Because you must have missed out a lot. Uh, Definitely we can work out something. Okay, I forgot to add it over here. I'll just add it over here. So 300 put. So let's not waste any time. So I have entered the trade, guys. 35,300 put option. Okay, and the entry was done at an average price of 363.3. Okay, so I have entered the trade at 363.3. Zoom and mark it out over here for you. Okay, over here itself is mark. Okay, so rational is bearish. So everything else is kind of actually looking bearish itself. So individual stocks kind of things are kind of looking bearish. That is why I went for a short. Okay, and my stop loss. So as far as the spot is kind of concerned, so I would have to set up my stop loss over here. Okay. $35,431. Okay. Now on the individual chart, if you have a look, if you kind of actually have a look at the pretty levels over here, as far as the distance towards the spot is kind of concerned, just a second. Yeah. So as far as the distance towards our kind of spot is kind of concerned, so the risk that we would actually have to take would be around 100 points. Okay, 75 points in fact. Okay, to be exact. Now on the spot chart, you would actually have to take a stop loss of around 50 points. Okay, so your stop would be somewhere at 300. This particular case. Okay, so 300 is where I'm keeping my stop. Just a second. I didn't get that question. Can you please repeat it again? So this could even be a trap where the price is actually kind of just. So this is where the stop is kept. So we would need something like 100-point move to have a. Okay, what is this question? We are marking levels and seeing price action in Nifty, but the thing is, if the stock in Nifty moves up, then the Nifty will rise. So then the Nifty will rise, right? So my question is, should we look into weighted stocks? Like, yeah, of course. So if you, so that is one good thing about Bank Nifty, right? So when you're kind of actually tracking, when you're kind of actually tracking Nifty, you have to track a lot of stocks, which is kind of more or less okay. Obviously, the heavyweights you can actually track, but then when it kind of comes to Bank Nifty, it's much more easier. So if you trade on banking stocks, one reason I personally like trading on banking sector stocks is at the time of analyzing the individual banking sector stock, we are also preparing ourselves to trade in Bank Nifty also. So two things are going hand in hand. So whenever we are kind of actually tracking the major banking sector stocks, we are also preparing ourselves to trade in Bank Nifty also, right? So both the things actually go hand in hand, right? So when we are kind of trading, when we are tracking the banking sector stocks, so which are lesser in number, either major ones, HDFC, Kotak, SBI, ICICI Axis, okay, IndusInd, all these things. So you're also preparing yourself to trade in Bank Nifty also, right? Both works are kind of being done at the same time, right? So that is one reason. That is another factor that I majorly track the banking sector. Okay. So 50-point stop loss means first set. Okay. So if someone who is kind of actually trading in one lot also, your risk is kind of going to be around 1250. Right. So 50-point stop means it's going to be around 1250. So minimum like how much capital you should be having. So if you are someone who is looking to risk like 1% of your capital in your trade, so what would be the risk that you're taking on your capital if you're trading one lot? Around 1%, right? So now do you kind of understand like when you're trading Bank Nifty, when you're trading options, so your risk per trade, so even if you're trading like minimal lots, like one lot, still you would be taking a risk of around 1250 rupee, 1000 to 2000 rupee per trade. Okay. So then definitely like you should have some sort of a sufficient capital. And now some of you would be like, what if I keep my stop loss tight? Like 10 point, 20 point stop loss, and the chances your stop loss is going to be hit is very, very high because these options premium actually fluctuate a lot, right? So let's see how it goes. So this is the first. So right now the trade is running in loss. Okay, and so if market is capable of picking up further, then I'll think about flipping my position. I'll think about checking out for long side trades, long side opportunities based on the trade actually kind of managing to go above this particular level, the height. So now Nifty is picking. So Kotak is picking, HDFC is picking, almost everything is picking now. But still the sellers are in control. That is actually very well evident having a look at the volume charts itself. So let's see how it goes, friends. Just figure out for you, ourselves like how it kind of goes. Okay, then one more. Okay, so okay, this is a very interesting question that our friend asked. I guess you should have asked it publicly. Okay, so when it kind of comes to a downside market, yeah, like if you ask like whether it is better to buy puts or whether it is kind of actually better to sell calls. So usually we see that when markets drop, IVs actually rise. Okay, so if IV values actually rise, then you get an advantage if you're buying options, right? So now let's say market is kind of actually picking up. So usually what we see is when markets pick up, so IV value usually drops, so VIX value usually drop. So if VIX is actually dropping, so someone who sold the option, they would be getting some sort of an advantage. Someone would have sold the put option. But days like Friday, when there is kind of not much of an upper hand that like I would say like of decay or this stuff happening. So I'm kind of more keen on thinking about buying options. So make sure that whatever question you asked, you ask it publicly, okay? Because else I would be uh, just speaking out something and others won't be able to see. So we'll have to wait, guys. We'll probably have to wait for a while. But let's see. And meanwhile, if we get some other opportunities, we'll check out for that also. And I wanted to create some spreads for the coming week. So if you have any questions, just feel free to ask. Unmute yourself and ask because maybe this is going to take some time. Any questions? Looks like uh, selling pressure is getting exhausted, but then not a time to make a comment. I'll actually be keen about flipping my position if price can manage to take above this. Okay. So still bank nifty is picking up. Hmm. So I'm kind of going to initiate. I was kind of actually working on a weekly spread for the coming expiry. So please share that with you. So how many of you feel that this coming week? So how many of you actually feel Nifty could settle somewhere above 15,700? How many of you feel Nifty could settle above 15,700 the coming week? So how many of you actually feel that like Nifty can manage to settle above 15,700 the coming week? Okay. So what about the rest? Like, what do you feel about it? So how many of you feel Nifty could settle below 15,700 the coming week? Okay. Below 15,700. Okay. Bank Nifty just moving against us. So if the price manages to pick above this would be something like this. Okay, where's the markup pen? Yeah. So Nifty has stopped forming lower lows. Bank Nifty, if it picks up above this would be kind of a double bottom and it would be a pick from here. And that can be considered for checking out for a long side based on a retest. Okay. So if this top would be getting hit, then I'll think about flipping my positions on the long side based upon a retest. I would be checking out for a movement towards these levels. If the stop is getting hit. Okay. It's very slow right now. I think some sort of a big move is going to come in. So which direction we had to see? So it's still a 35,500 call option that says writing. 35,500 call option says writing. No, I don't have any trade in crude right now. So I usually trade the commodities markets in the evening hours only. Because that is when the major moves come. So Bank Nifty is kind of gradually just starting to move against us, guys. But still, but you see that still the volume is on the volume side is still the sellers who have an upper hand. Okay. No, HDFC Bank is picking up. That is something that is affecting us. HDFC Bank is kind of actually just picked up a bit from 15.4, kind of picked up to almost 15.10. So the way market is getting silent, uh, we kind of actually expect some sort of a violent move kind of going to come. Okay, the way the market is kind of getting calm. So Nifty is picking up. So today Nifty is kind of actually looking more stronger than Bank Nifty. So Nifty is actually looking pretty strong right now at this point of time. So chances increase that, yeah, we would probably go wrong on our trade. Let's wait and see. Such a slow market now. Nifty looks like it's not going to stop. Still not much of a moment is coming in. But then now the chances or the distance towards our stop loss is getting lesser. Okay. So Bank Nifty needs to respond soon. Bank Nifty is to take a dip, it has to take now. So as far as the OI friend is kind of concerned, yeah, 35,500 C still C is writing. 35,700 C, 35,500, all these things. See, the volume is not convincing. Okay, the volume formation that is kind of getting formed is not actually convincing. There could be some of you who would kind of actually ask, okay, if you feel that this is a double bottom, then why don't you exit this position before the stop loss, cutting it as at a 0.5 hour, and then why don't you think about going for a long position? The problem is till now, all these upside move, it doesn't look convincing because what we kind of realize from the charts is still the sellers who sort of have an upper hand over here. Okay. So it looks as if it's still till this particular point of time, it looks as if it's still the sellers itself who has the upper hand. Okay. So as long as that particular part is kind of not changing, so we'll stick to the position. Oh yeah, that question could be good. Why don't we think about going for a long position, exiting before our stop loss itself? Okay, howsoever, like as long as the price, kind of, what do you say, as long as the price really doesn't give some sort of a conviction for us to go for a long, it doesn't make much sense to go for a long. Okay. So we'll have to wait. It's going to be more or less a waiting game. See, if HDFC is taking a dip, then that would support Bank Nifty to a great extent. So right now only ICICI and Axis is looking sort of weak. Okay, so HDFC taking a dip would be highly appreciable. So meanwhile, if you have any questions, you can feel free to ask. See, guys, like usually when I trade, I kind of actually do something else also. Like, as you know, okay, once my target is set, like once my stop loss is set, my entry is kind of done. I really don't have much to do. So, especially on Fridays, because on Fridays, what do you say? I really don't do this straddles, triangles, all these things. So, which really doesn't, which at times which needs management. But on Fridays is kind of more or less free. So that's why usually we conduct these live trades on Fridays and Friday evening, all these things. So I'll just take some questions to your time. So that will be kind of a full, complete utilization of the time that we have, right? So please feel free to ask questions. Okay. If you have anything to ask, you can ask. Then meanwhile, I guess Monisha was asking. I guess Monisha is still there. Let me quickly check. Yeah, she's there. So Monisha, like what our friend Monisha was asking is, what happens when stop loss hits on straddles? Okay. So if one side stop loss is getting hit, so I would highly recommend you kind of let the other leg also run, because when we kind of study, when we kind of see, that is when we get the maximum results. So usually like Bank Nifty straddle, kind of one side stop loss getting hit. So that would be the time when Bank Nifty would have given a directional violent move on either of these sides. So if you are capable of capturing that directional violent move, then that is where you get the best benefit out of it. So it's best that you kind of ride the other side, even if other like one leg stop loss is getting hit. That would be better. Okay. So is this time? Is this kind of a time for us to flip our positions? Is this sort of a time to flip our positions? Stay alert. HDFC is taking a dip now, but Bank Nifty. Okay, ICICI picked up a lot. Okay, I'll just quickly share the chart. The last 5 months, ICICI actually picked up a lot. Okay, that's the reason why. Just have a look at this. Not a lot, but then it picked up. Okay, so that's the rationale why, or that's the reason why this kind of picked up too. Just quickly get back to our 35,300 put, and yeah, this is kind of actually approaching the stop loss. Okay, so 35,300 is approaching the stop loss. So Bank Nifty looks like it's going to pick up, but once again there is no volume. Okay, in the sense like when Bank Nifty is picking up, there is kind of no volume at all. Something that makes me worried. Swing trading options and option setting is different. Yeah, it's different. So Bank Nifty picking up really well. So Bank Nifty is picking up really well, guys. Okay. So it's kind of about time for us to flip the positions. Okay. And so now what I'm kind of actually checking out for is the first thing that we were tracking. $35,500 CE. Okay. Okay. So in this case, $35,500 C is actually being tracked. So most likely like 35,300 put would hit our stop. So the trend line is being respected pretty much. Okay. So even though we see some sort of a rejection over here from where we took out our entry, that just fooled us. Okay. Our trend line is actually being respected pretty much. And this trade is kind of almost the first trade, yeah. So it's kind of just approaching the loss stop loss. So now the volume is kind of building up gradually. Okay. So Bank Nifty is kind of actually picking up with the volume right now. So as compared to the earlier scenario, right now it is picking up with volume, and we need to go for a long. This is not stop loss is not taken out yet. Okay. Now 35,500 call is actually being washed out. I guess I'll just add the Bank Nifty futures chart over here. So you see that, yeah, this kind of this level, this candle kind of came with some good volume. Okay, however, let's see how the follow goes to. Then we'll decide on our long. So meanwhile, our put option trade is still running. The trade is still running. It has not taken out the stop because stop was kept at 300. The approach close by, but of course it taken out. So the loss in that is around some 1,150 rupees per lot right now. So today, like, it's going to be very interesting. I am expecting some sort of a good move on either of the directions. So this level can be taken out further. Like we'll go for a flip position, and so VIX is actually kind of cooling off right now. But the thing we need now is volume. So let's see what our friends are doing. Banknifty not moving. Let's see Banknifty capture 90 points. This is active now. So there are many people who have already taken a long. Okay. Durgesh, Kaustup, Rishabh, everybody is on the long side. Okay. So guys, yeah, the volume is kind of gradually building up. Now there is kind of no need to wait much. Soon, I guess like the put side stop could be taken out pretty soon. Just wait. This is going to be like a suspense thriller today, sort of a suspense thriller. So, so if this high is capable of being taken out, the price is capable of taking out this high, let's go for a long. Okay. So if this high is kind of being taken out, our stop loss will be hit over here also. So by then, like our position would actually be flipped to a long side trade on 35,500 call. Okay, soon. Okay, so yes, I'm in the trade. I have bought the 35,500 call option. So the average entry price is 439. Okay, so 439 is the average entry. Just mark it out over here. So 39 is over here. And in this particular trade, once again, our stop is around 50 points itself. Okay, bit lesser than that actually. Yeah, it's kind of a bit higher than that actually. Okay, so this is where our stop loss is kept. That is at 387. Okay, so our stop loss sits on the put side, and we are riding the trade on the call side now. So 387 is our stop loss on the bought call option. Okay. Okay, so let's see how Bank Nifty can do. Let's quickly check out for also like how Bank Nifty is capable of doing. If you continues back to back losses, then I'll just wind up for the morning markets and get back the evening markets only. So the trend line was kind of respected pretty good. So irrespective of the fact that everything else was kind of actually negative, so this trend line actually got respected pretty well. Just a second, guys. My God. So I'm a trap. So yeah, I'll be providing you the recording, so I can completely understand some of you will be at your office. So I'll definitely be providing you the recording. So if you are doing something, yeah, you can carry on with the work because this might take time, anyways. Okay. So if you have some questions to ask, please feel free to ask. So right now, yeah, the bot call option is also kind of actually running in some loss. Okay. So meanwhile, if you have some questions, feel free to ask. So I just thought, yeah, I'll just kind of stream this trade completely without taking any breaks. So there's kind of no momentum at all. Oops. This is kind of completely going against us. So right now, yeah, the market is kind of actually looking like it's kind of taking a take against us. We'll reach a resistance of 548. So it's kind of actually approaching a good resistance level. But as I mentioned to you, like stocks lack momentum. So it's best that you kind of see this is kind of actually a very good resistance level that is approaching. Can take out, okay, let it be considered long sides. But markets in a whipsaw. Nifty, Bank Nifty, everything is in a whipsaw as of today. Kind of feeling really sleepy today too. Guys, I think then we'll kind of just quickly wind up for now. Then we'll kind of catch up after some time because maybe it's going to take some time. Okay. So maybe we can actually catch up after some time. So seems like it is facing a rejection from the pivot. And as far as the entry is concerned, there is nothing much to do about it. Okay, this one. Because the volume was looking good and the major banks was also kind of looking is going to pick up. But now looks like things have changed around. Okay, so we'll see how it goes. I guess we'll kind of catch up after some time, no? So for now, I guess we could quickly wind up and let's see. Let's kind of connect after a while. Okay, so maybe if this is going to take a lot of time, then it's going to be very boring. So VIX is kind of cooling. The VIX values are kind of pretty smooth. It's kind of cooling. So which means markets are kind of comfortable in moving up. Now the individual stocks like Kotak, HDFC, acts as after that initial like downside pressure. So right now there is not much of a selling pressure that is evident. So if all those factors are kind of being factored in, then definitely like Bank Nifty has to pick up. So only thing that is kind of actually concerning us is the writing taking place on the 35,500 call option. Okay. So I guess yeah, we'll kind of just take a break. Then we'll catch up after a while. Okay, so let's see how it goes. Then we'll meet. Fine. Now I'm anticipating a move towards that neckline. So you see that level that got broken that we discussed as a first entry level, right? So markets are to pick up. So I'm anticipating a move towards the next level, that is the neckline. So that would be actually our 1/2. So let's see how it goes. Fine. So yes, I guess we can just quickly take a break and we'll get back to discuss the results, what happens. Okay. Thank you.